Okay, so yesterday when we left off, you were talking about how you focused on increasing operational efficiency in the business to continue it and maybe make it last in the long run. And after almost a decade, I think, the business was stable. And by mid 2000s, I think production and efficiency had both improved. So this sounds like things were going well. Can you tell me more about that time?
Yeah, so this was a phase where you actually enjoy the whole process that has been set in motion, and the whole the entrepreneurial venture when it has taken shape, when it starts producing results. So I think that is a phase where you enjoy the whole phase of entrepreneurship after the long struggle that we had gone through. So yes, so we built it up brick by brick. I mean, we were constantly trying to scale it up, uh, create more value adding processes, because commodity is always, a commodity product is always very comes with a very thin margins, and it is highly price competitive. So the price becomes very critical. So if you keep adding value in terms of value added processes, you go up the chain, it always helps. So I think that is what we did for the next 5 years, and we scaled it up to a very sizable, so from 12,500 to 40,000 spindles, which is almost 3 times the size we were able to scale up during that time.
Okay, but was there more to it than that? I mean, were you looking ahead constantly and kind of trying to see at a foundational level if there's anything wrong or if there need to be more improvements, or was this, once you reached stability, was it like, was the goal to just maintain it? Because I know you said it was growing, but at some point there must be more reflection and
No, so that is a constant exercise. I mean, in any business enterprise or any entrepreneurial venture, that is something which you'll have to constantly monitor. There is nothing like, stability of course is there. You can achieve stability, but any business, in my, experience, stability is always short term. What you are seeking always is long term sustainability. And in this case, I did feel that yes, that long-term sustainability started becoming suspect in some way or the other. So that's where, and why that happened was because two of our critical inputs, which was power and labor, came under a lot of stress. Both for different reasons. Power, of course, because the oil prices, as I had mentioned, that we had put up a furnace oil plant, and the power situation in Punjab still remained very scarce. So we were dependent a lot on the furnace oil plant, and the oil prices started to shoot up a bit. And then labor, because of the government policy which they had introduced, Manrega was a scheme for rural employment. So there was less and less labor that was available for the industry. So both these factors definitely were there in our mind, and it was always, we always looking at how we will create a long-term sustainability, given that these two critical factors were coming under stress.
And these were two factors that you were aware of, but sometimes things happen that you would not even expect or could be aware of, which was like the financial crisis. It's kind of similar to when COVID-19 happened, and then there was this pandemic in 2020 and a lockdown, and there was obviously so many financial impacts, but also for many people personal impacts. I mean, the way I can relate to this is that I think about COVID and the lockdown and how you have to learn to adapt to a whole new way of living that you could have never accounted for. And so we had to learn again, and we had to figure out new ways of socializing and maintaining that lifestyle in some form or the other, and everything was now virtual. So I'm curious as to how you adapted when the global financial crisis of 2008 happened, and what the impact of it was for you.
Yeah, so you're very right. I mean, so beyond what was visible to us, which was the power and labor situation, was also this whole semi-visible, development which took place in the form of financial crisis, because we were, as an entrepreneur, I was working in a certain ecosystem of textiles and yarn manufacturing, global financial crisis, while it was affecting everyone, um, for a long time it did not directly had a bearing on us. So we were not really digging deep into what it could lead to. But then when it actually happened, when it the impact of global financial crisis started coming in, it hit us in more ways than one. One, of course, the oil prices just shot up 3 times. So our main critical input, which was power, just exploded. Apart from that, there were some currency swap, the arrangements that we had done with the banks, which had gone wrong. So the situation came to such a case where we started feeling that a lot of factors have suddenly started going out of control. So controllability of the business, we started questioning that, and I think this global financial crisis really triggered that whole process of really question whether we can create a long-term sustainable business the way we were already doing it so far.
So after this, what did you decide to do? What was the steps that you decided to take?
So this was a dilemma, and this happens in most of the entrepreneurial ventures, that what to do next when you can see that there is a crisis which is coming in, and that the business suddenly from being stable starts to become unviable. And if you continue doing the same thing, maybe you will reach a stage where suddenly you will not have enough resources, because then it will become completely unviable. So that is a dilemma which we were also going through, and I think many people will go through in their journeys. And that's where, among other options, we decided to pivot to a completely different business segment.
Yesterday's episode, you mentioned that when you take on this entrepreneurial journey, you have to give it your best shot, and you have to kind of stick through and see the decision through. What made this decision different, and why did walking away seem like the better idea in this case?
So I think the answer to that would be the judgment and the assessment of controllability. I think here in our judgment, a lot of factors had beyond our control were going wrong or going against us. And we did not see a way to kind of reach a stage where we can start controlling them. And that is where I think we decided to pivot.
And after making this decision to pivot, did you know what you were going to get into next? Was the decision made with kind of a safety net in mind, or a plan B? Did you know you were going to stick to entrepreneurship, or maybe go back to the corporate world? What was the thought process then? Because a lot of people might find that leaving without having that is a scary thing to do.
Yes, so business without creating a new one. But yes, so the new business was basically a kidswear brand that we conceptualized, and that's where my personal life story comes in, because Mohita was a fashion student and intuitively a product person. And together, and we were parents of young children, and this was something which we were experiencing on a day-to-day basis, that there was the kind of clothing that we would want for our children in the age group of 6 to 12 years was typically not available in India. While traveling abroad, yes, we were able to find more clean lines and sober colors, but in India that segment was missing. So that's why we decided to get into that segment at that point of time, because we felt that there was a need, there was an opportunity there, and the what it brought with us was that a branded apparel segment gives you the ability to differentiate, to create a kind of a positioning, to create a story in the minds of consumers, to engage with the end users or the consumers. So it's a B2C kind of a business. Whereas a commodity, you are dependent on, of course, operational efficiencies, but you're also dependent on a lot of external factors light power labor, or the financial crisis, for which you may not have enough control on. So these were two very different kind of segments, and that's why we kind of chose to take this path, because we felt us having better control on this ecosystem, and we also felt that yes, this is a higher margin business, and we can create a good differentiation.
Okay, I think I've been a pretty big part of this. We're going to discuss that in the next episode.
We should do that.